Hey everyone, this is Saturday, and I'm going to tell you right up front, this is going to be a long video. And so I would suggest you grab something to drink and something to snack on, because today we're going to do 101 Beginners Polymer Clay. It's going to be packed with a bunch of information, and I don't expect you to get it all at once. You can play the video back and forth as you need it. I'm going to do just basic clay, where I'm going to show you different ways you can cut it, different things you can use to help make it easier to cut it, different ways that you can get patterns on the clay, different ways that you can paint the clay. And it's just going to be a little bit of this and a little bit of that just to get you started. Polymer clay is probably one of the cheapest hobbies that you can get into with very minimal equipment needed. Now, I've got my pasta machine up here today, and it is bolted down to my table. I have my acrylic roller that I like to use. I have my glass top that I will be rolling on. I do have my blades up here this time. I'm a little bit more prepared to show you the tools that I use, but of course I showed you on the other one, you really don't need them. You can use them, you don't need a pasta machine. Is it easier? Oh, it's so much easier. But you don't have to have one. You can use popsicle sticks and layer them up, and a rolling pin or one of these to roll it out to get an even layer. But if you think you're going to do polymer clay, I would suggest your first thing that you do purchase, and go on eBay or Mercari. Get a used one. Do not buy the cheap ones from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. They won't last. You'll spend $35, $39 for one of those. I made that mistake. I know, I'm talking about experience here. Don't waste your money, because they will tear up. They don't last. And for the same amount that you buy one of those, you can get an Atlas 180 or an Atlas 150 used off of eBay or Mercari. I don't know about Posh, but that's where I bought both of mine. So I would suggest you look there and really seriously consider, if you're wanting to do polymer clay, to get one of those. Your very first piece of equipment. It's going to make it a whole lot easier on you, and if it's easier on you're going to enjoy it more. We are going to be using a pasta machine, which I will show you in a minute, my roller, tissue blades, which I showed you on my Temu order yesterday. It comes with this, and that would be good enough, but it's not very heavy, and it's hollow. I don't know if we'll get into this or not, but this is an acrylic blank, and there are purposes for this. And I'm going to go ahead and take this film off, if I can get it off. Sometimes this stuff is hard to get off, and sometimes it peels right off. And it's on both sides. So if you get this, and do not clean this. Do not clean your acrylic pieces with alcohol. It will... this is from experience too, okay? It will dull them, and they won't last as long. Just use water to clean it off with. Make sure you dry it good, because water and polymer clay do not get along. But you can use water as one method to help cut with clay. I tend not to do that. There's several One of the things you can use that I do not have out here is Armor All. And I don't use that either because I don't like the residue it leaves, but you can use that too. We're going to be using Sculpey Soufflé White. I can change it any color I want. We're going to be using textured sheets. We're going to be using embossing folders of all kinds. We're going to be using stencils. We're going to be using stamps. We're going to be using cutters with the embossing cutter in there also. You have the main cutter, you have the imprint. Some people call it embossing, some people call it imprint cutter. That is not to cut the clay, that is to imprint the design on the clay. We're going to be using Stays On stamping ink. We're going to be using mica powder. And we are going to, I have to show this because this is the little basket that I bought at Salvation Army and I lost that video, y'all. I don't know. YouTube had 2 of them up there and one had all the views and the other one showed no views. And so I deleted the one with no views, and when I did that, it deleted both of them. I don't know. I was not happy with YouTube at that point. But anyway, this is one of the things I got at Salvation Army that I showed on that haul video. And so I thought I had to bring all the stuff up from downstairs. So I thought I'd put on my liquid Sculpey, and this is all the liquid Sculpey in there. But there's also liquid Sculpey here, and liquid Sculpey here, and more liquid Sculpey. Do I like liquid Sculpey? And that is the stuff that we're going to be using to color. We're going to be using cornstarch, clingwrap, parchment sheets, Pan Pastels, if we have enough time, we'll get into the micro cutters, little bitty tiny cutters. I am going to be sharing with you how to bake, and so I will be covering all this stuff. So yes, it is going to be a long video, and I just want to give you a heads up. You know I do long videos. This is going to be an exceptionally long video. And so let's get started. Before I do, I have to do the introduction. Hello, my name is Beth. For all of y'all that have never been here before, welcome, and I'm so glad that you're here. For all of y'all that have been here many times or are subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. Each and every one of you means so much to me, and I know I say this a lot, but I truly mean it, and I am very, very thankful. I hope we all have fun today. If you've got polymer clay with you, I suggest you pull it out and do this with me. Okay, I'm going to pull this down. And this is not like normal. I have my glass top right here. And my table is loaded. It is loaded with stuff. Now I do have the silicone mat up underneath here to keep my glass top from moving around. It's moving the whole table, but it's not shifting the glass. And that's what you want. You want something secure that when you go to roll or put your clay on, you want it so where it doesn't move around. The first thing that I have to stress when you're working with polymer clay, make sure that everything you use with polymer clay is clean. Even if it looks clean, wipe it down, because every little dust particle will get into polymer clay. Baby wipes. I bought this at Salvation Army too. I showed that. on my haul video too. I got my baby wipes in there. It is wonderful. Okay, and I just washed this down, but I'm doing it again. And you can see the pasta machine over here. I also wiped that down, but I'm doing it again. And I should have brought paper towels over here to dry this off. Now this is one thing that I got, and this is a nifty little tool, and I will show this to you. It comes with the base. I haven't used this stuff in so long. It comes with a base, and that's the wand. It's magnetic, so you've got the ball tip. If you don't need that, you put it back. It's got the silicone tip, which is flat. It's got the pointed silicone tip, and it's firm. And you sort of want a firm one when working with clay. You don't want one of these. You don't want this thing when you're working with clay. You see how flimsy that is? That is not going to do you a bit of good. Okay, and I believe these are, yeah. That's a knife. An X-Acto knife tip. Let me put that back on there. And that is a very sharp point tip. Which all these, this is a really cool set to have because it pretty much covers everything you need. The only difference is the ball tips. I have every shape and size of the ball tips. I do not have them all up here. But I did bring a smaller one up. And it's got even a smaller one. I do have a makeup brush. It's very soft. I think I got this at Temu for like 47 cents. I'm going to use that for the cornstarch. And then, you remember, now I have used this thing and used this thing and used this thing. You remember when I told you that it was getting dull? Well, when I was down there, I found the replacement blades. So, hopefully this is not resined on there to the point where I can't get it off, which it might be. And I'm going to need something sharp. That's another one. It's another one of those tools with another ball tip, another size of ball tip. I may have to soak this to get it off, but this is my favorite. Yeah, it's not going to come off right now, and I'm not going to do that right now, but this is how it comes. And this is a good, for resin and clay, this is a really good buy. And it's for Cricut. But I don't use it for that. I do have a silhouette. And I have it sitting over there, but I've not turned it on yet. Okay. Let's get started. I got everything I need but scissors. This is the 1 pound. No, this is not the 1 pound. This is a 7-ounce pack. And when I can get the white in that, I do. And see, there's already something on this white. You see that? good thing about polymer clay. You can wipe it right off. Okay. And what I do is I take a section at a time and I roll it out to a size that can go through my pasta machine. And this thing just knocked over. If you could see my table, I had very little work room over here. And there was something on that roller. And that's what I'm telling you. And this is a brand new roller. So just make sure that anything that touches your clay is clean. And you definitely want to clean it now instead of waiting. Because after you bake it, that means a lot of sanding to try to get a little dust particle or hair out of there. And this is really, really old clay. So it's going to have to be conditioned. And right now I'm just getting it to where I can put it in my pasta machine. And I will put it on the largest setting first. You do not want to run a really thick piece of clay in your pasta machine because you want your pasta machine to last. And I'm going to try to angle this over so you can sort of see what I'm doing. My phone is wanting to do weird things. It's not holding up there. Maybe you can see it. Okay, I put it in this way. Let me make sure. No, I gotta make sure it's on 0 is my thickest setting. And I'm just gonna run it through, and then I'm gonna pick up another piece. And I'm gonna run it through. And then I'm gonna pick up another piece. And I'm gonna run it through. Then I'm gonna fold it. There's the fold line. I'm gonna pick up another piece. The fold line always goes in first, so the air has some way of coming out. And this is really, really gonna take some time to condition. I'm folding. See, I still have a piece left, but I want to get this conditioned a little bit better first. And I keep folding, and I keep putting it in. You see how crumbly it looks on the side? You know that it's not anywhere near being conditioned when it looks like that. And it's still sort of crumbly. And it's still coming off fairly easy. So you just keep putting it through, and of course I'm not going to fast forward. I know a lot of people do, but I am not, because I want you to see in real time how long. I could tell you, but that still isn't like actually saying it. Of course you can fast forward if you want. But this is going to, and now what I'm going to do is, you see the edges? I want to sort of condition the edges, so I'm flipping it over. Still making sure that there's a way for the air to get out. So I'm putting it in here. And you see how that looks different than that edge? And I'm going to keep doing that for a couple more times. And it's starting to get softer. So now I'm going to put this edge in. That edge is going to go in first. But there's still an opening for the air to get out. Now I'm putting this little piece and I'm running it through 1. Now I'm changing it over to 2 because it went through 1 too easy. Now I'm putting it over to 3. You keep changing your pasta machine until you've got some kind of friction going so you can get this clay conditioned. And you will know the first time you run a piece of clay through. If it's almost impossible for it to go through, you know that it's too thick, and don't put it through your pasta machine, thin it down. But if it goes through without any effort whatsoever, then you need to change your setting to the next one until there's some kind of, what's the word? Where it's a little bit harder to get it through. I don't know what the word is. I can't think of the word right now. Okay, now I'm putting it all together. And I put it on number 3. Can you see this? And this is still just conditioning the clay, y'all. And I know some people will tell you, oh, it's not necessary. Oh, you don't have to do that. You do have to do that. If you don't do it, your clay is not going to do what it's meant to do. I have it on 3. Now the 180 is longer than the 150 this way, which allows me to put this bigger piece. You're not going to get this bigger piece in a 150, which is okay. You don't need it that big. Oh, see, it just came off the table. And of course, that shows you why you want it down. Oh, it came undone. That's odd. Why did it come undone? Okay, y'all, just fast forward through this until I can get this back on here. Because it shouldn't have popped up like that. Okay, now I'm putting it back on 1 because I don't want my clay this thin. And now I'm getting something in it. And I don't want that in there. And I cleaned the blades, so that goes to show you especially with white. Yeah, I picked it up again. I took it off and then I picked it up again. And I am constantly cleaning my area while I'm doing clay. Okay, let's do this. And it's still not conditioned good. I hope y'all can tell this. I'm putting it back to 0. And if it's newer clay, it does not take this long, but this is older clay. I have some clay that's like 6 years old. Clay doesn't go bad. You can always condition clay. You may have to add some clay softener or something to it, but you can always get clay back to working condition. Now it's starting to get a little bit better, but it's not there yet. Now could you imagine if I was doing this much clay and tried to condition it with my hand? Of course you can, but I wouldn't want to. Okay, now I'm going to take it down to 4 and put in just the whole sheet. And this is not down good. I'm going to fold it and I'm going to do it down to 5. I'm trying to get the edges conditioned also. Making sure there's no air because I folded it and I don't want any air. So I'm taking it back to 0, y'all. And some people will tell you you don't have to do this, but I have learned from experience that if you take shortcuts with clay, then your results is not going to be as good. And I'm going to keep working with this. I'm going to run it through probably about another 4 times. And I'm going to leave it on the thickest setting. Okay, we're going to go with that. It could have been run through a little bit more, but we're gonna stop here. We're going to get one of these tissue blades out. These are really sharp, so y'all be careful when you do this. That's a stiff one. I want the stiff one. Yep, that's the flimsy one. And I will show you what the rippled blade will do for you. But right now, I'm going to just even up my clay. I'm going to set this over here. And then I'm going to roll this to get it to go. Oh, see, there's something on my rolling pin. Okay. There's still something on it. I can see it right there. Okay, and I'm just rolling it to get it to stick to the glass. And that's Dan over there sighing. Yes, I am removing, because I don't want it in there. And like I said, every little thing shows up. Okay. Now we're going to cut this because I'm going to show you different ways of coloring and of cutting. And I hope I may have to run that back through. That's okay. No, I can't do that with this. I don't want it to tear. See, I want it sticking and I had it stuck. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to get into the fun part. We are going to use some Pan Pastels. Only because I got them right here. I don't think I have any chalk up here, and that's a shame because chalk is an awesome way. Pan Pastels. I cannot show you me getting them out of there. Because I'm limited on space. This is what I'm going to use. Okay. I'm going to use the turtle mode on this, I think. So let me get some green in here. And a little bit more of the copper. A little bit more of the green. I'm going to take my finger and I'm just going to rub it in. And I'm going to pull you down a little bit more. So you're a little bit closer. Okay. You saw how easy that was. Okay, we have this turtle cutter. When you have a cutter that's got this much detail in it, you need something to help you get that cut. So, because I used clay, a chalk, I don't want to put cornstarch on this right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cling wrap. I don't like this stuff. I'm telling you, this stuff does not cooperate with me at all. I was watching Steve McDonald the other day, and I just died laughing because I could so relate. He was talking about this cling wrap and how he couldn't even get it to cut on the where it's supposed to cut it off at. And I said, yeah, I'm right there with you. So I'm making sure there is no wrinkles in this because that wrinkle is going to show in that clay. So I'm getting it down and smoothing it out until it's smooth. And I'm going to take the turtle. I'm going to stand up, okay, because I want some weight. And I'm also going to take my acrylic blank, if I can find what I did with it. I literally do not say what I did with the acrylic blank that I took the stuff off of. Wow. If you could see my, oh, here it is. If you could see my table, you'd understand. Okay. I'm going to take this so I can see. And I'm going to push. Now, if it's a bad cutter, it's not going to go in there. If it's too blunt, and if it's not sharp enough, and it's not going down in there. Okay, these are cutters from Temu, y'all. And you see the pressure that I'm putting. I'm literally putting every piece of pressure I've got. Oh my word. Okay, maybe that's good enough. I don't think so though. But I could not put any more pressure on this if I tried. I don't think it's getting up in the detail, but okay, we're going to take it out. Maybe it's deeper than what I think. Oh no. Yeah, I did it too much. Although that's really cool. Okay. But it did not cut it. It did not cut it. So is this not a cutter? Is this an imprint? This should be a cutter. Because it's got that double line there, it should cut it, and it did not. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just taking my finger and sort of smooshing because it's up there. I mean, it's popped up there. Oh, it did cut it. Okay, y'all. Oh, okay. So you didn't have to do it that hard. We're going to try this turtle one again, although I sort of like the way that it, I'll show it to you in just a minute up close. But I want a little bit more color on it. Not a whole lot. I'm just tapping. I'm going to pick up, and I'm going to tap. And then I'm going to sort of blend. And then I'm going to get the edges. because I want the color on the edges too. Just taking my tool. Okay. And right now I'm just smoothing out the edges. And I do this prior to baking because I'm telling you, I don't like sanding clay. And if you don't do this prior to baking, if you want your pieces to look good, you're going to have to sand after baking. Okay. And normally I have paper, but it's okay. And I like the fact that the white is showing through and it's just not a solid. Okay, we're going to do this again. So I'm going to run this through the pasta machine again. Really fast. And we're going to try the cornstarch. And not push it down nearly as much. Okay. And I'm just pushing it down. And yes, you probably have fingerprints. I don't worry about fingerprints. Okay, cornstarch. I just stick my finger in there. And I wipe it over the top. Then we're going to try this again. I'm not going to press nearly as hard, but I am going to stand up. Okay. You see the difference? I didn't press as hard, and it looks different. And I'm using this tool, and this is the soft one because I don't want to indent it. I'm just smoothing out the sides, these little bitty hair-like fibers, and I'm smoothing it all out while it's still attached to the glass because it's easier. You will find out once you pick this up that you can distort it really easy when you're trying to clean it off. So if you can do all this while it's down here on the glass stuck to it, you're better off to do it that way. Okay. And see, I still have a bunch of cleaning up to do, and I hope y'all can see this. I'm going to take the side of this that does not have any color on it. I'm basically just pushing on the clay to get those little ends off of there and to smooth it out. Not worried about the back because I will sand the back. Y'all know I do worry about backs, but at this point, I'm not. This is also the before baking. Is where you can manipulate it. Or if you want the fins, is that what the turtles have? Fins? Flippers? I don't know. What are they called? I should know that probably, huh? Honey, what are turtle? Are those flippers or fins? He's sitting right here on the couch and he's not hearing what I'm saying. Maybe he doesn't know either. That's before it's colored. Now this is the cornstarch. This is not clay, so we're going to clean that off. And I'm going to wipe my mold off because it was a little sticky. And it's a good thing too. This is what I'm doing. Just taking a baby wipe and wiping it off. Okay. We are going to color this with liquid Sculpey. Some people wait until after it's baked, and you can do that. But I don't want to. And I'm looking for a green. And I don't see a green in here. Which means I'm going to have to make my own, I guess. So I have a yellow. And a blue. And a red. With liquid Sculpey, you do have to mix it. And I'm all about ease, so what I do is I just put it all in a cup. And I will put it back in the bottle. That's the only way. It's easier for me to do this. I know that I get it all mixed up really good, and there's not a big glob anywhere. See, there's a big glob right there. Okay. And I'm taking one of these micro brushes. And I'm going to mix it up. You just don't want a big old glunk piece in there. Which sometimes you don't have if it's newer. But if it's older, oh yeah, you have it real runny and then you'll find this big old glunk piece. Is that a word, glunk? Probably not. It's as bad as my squishy? No, squinchy, squinchy. Okay. Now I want green, so I'm going to take some of this, and this is sticky. Liquid Sculpey is sticky. And that's all I need. So I'm putting the rest of it back in the bottle. Now, you know, if y'all want to take a big old stick and try to stir it in the bottle, then, you know, do you. That's what you need to do. Whatever works the best for you. And that's fine, as long as you get it stirred. I just feel like I can get it stirred better if it's all out and I can see it all and I know that there's no big old clump in there. But ultimately, all you're trying to achieve is to get it stirred up. I'm going to set that over there. And we are going to put that up. And we're going to do the same thing with the yellow. Now this one does have like big old blobs. And the thing about polymer clay is it's all about getting it conditioned and mixed well. It works like it's supposed to work when you've got all the ingredients mixed together well. It does not work good if you don't. And the last thing you want to do is ruin a piece that you spent sometimes quite a while on just because you didn't follow a step correctly. And believe you me, I know from experience, because I'm one that's all about taking shortcuts whenever you can. And this is just basically with polymer clay, preparing the items that you're using, then it goes really quick. And this is what takes the most time right here. But now once I have it all mixed up, then I could go boom, 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 and do a bunch. And I see this really did need to be mixed up, because that was real clumpy. Oh yeah. So I can feel the difference. There's big old clumps and it's real thick. I don't know if you can see this or not. It's just a lot thicker than the blue was. Which now I'll, you know, once I get it stirred up, it's stirred up and it's good. And I could probably use it, you know, for the next couple of days and it would be okay. After that, I would feel like I needed to stir it again. Okay, I need another glass to put a little bit. In there, and I'm going to pour the rest of it back. Uh-oh. See that bubble? But it is nice to be able to work with something without having to have gloves on. And yes, before I put the lid on, I will be cleaning that up. Okay, smaller string. I tried to get it in there too fast, so I'm putting smaller stream and it's going in there just fine now. And I love these cups because you see how much I can bend these. And these came off of Temu, y'all. Yes, I do wash these out. These are not throwaway for me because you can reuse these and reuse these and reuse these. I'm washing this off. You're probably not seeing a lot of this, and I do apologize. That was just me trying to get the yellow back in the jar, which I did. And that's going over there. And yes, you need to have baby wipes right next to you, handy dandy. Okay, I don't want this big old thing in here, so let's get that out of there. Cleanup is so much easier too with this stuff. And I'll put that over there. And now we have the red. And I'm going to just do this to save a little bit of time, because this is fairly new. I'm just mixing it up. Okay. Now we're going to get into mixing colors. Because I want a green. So, we all know that blue and yellow make green. So I'm going to put a little bit of blue. You know what? I've got blue in here. Let me just put yellow in there. And we have green. I think this is going to be too big for that. Yeah. Let me get a really fine point. Yeah. Let's try that. That's still too big. I need something smaller. This is easier when it's already baked. Because you don't have to worry about the clay being soft. But I didn't want to have to rebake it in 2 different steps. So I'm doing it this way. Normally I would not do it this way. But because I'm going to be putting a wash over it, when it's dry, all these imperfections won't be as noticeable. I really need my needle tool is what I need, and I don't have that up here. That's way too much. Yep, I knew it, see? And that looks hideous. Okay, nope. Nope, nope, and nope. We'll do it that way instead. Which is okay. Okay, good enough. Spent way too much time on this. If you mess up, see? Let's just go that route. Because I'm going to put a wash on it anyway. So let's just do this. I'm looking for my blade. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to manipulate and sort of make those go up a little bit. Okay. I like that one better, but this one's not done yet, so. Okay. Let's go on to the next cutter. I'm just rolling it to get it on. And what I'm going to do is this right here. I want the imprint of that. So I'm taking it and I'm going to roll it. Can y'all see that? Probably not. I will show you when I bring it up. We're going to use a little bit more of this Pan Pastel for right now, because I want you to be able to see this. Now I use very little, and I'm going to take some of this off. Now this is part of a leaf, but this could be part of a tree also. And I'm going to take a little bit of green. I'm going to add it. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a lighter green. And add that. And then I'm going to Add a little bit of yellow. And add that. And then with a new one, pick up a little bit of white. And I'm going to go back over the branches just to sort of highlight the branches. And it is raised enough on the clay where you can do that. It takes a soft touch. And then with one that does not have any color on it, sort of taking the color off where I don't want the color. What color is that? Ooh, I like that color, whatever that is. It's left over from, oh yeah, okay. Don't know what cutter we're going to be using. Maybe this one. And I'm looking to see where I want to cut it. Since I think I'm going to make earrings out of this, I think I'm going to cut it right there. And I hope I got enough. Nope, it chopped off there. Okay, no earrings. That did not imprint. See, I don't understand these cutters. These cutters are not good cutters if they're not imprinting. That design. And they're not. Okay. If you get a bad cutter, don't get discouraged. It's not you, it's the cutter. Yeah. This cutter should have cut I don't know. I'm going to show you. That is the design I got by using this on the clay first, and then taking the Pan Pastels with one of those, and then I just went over the raised veiny part, and then I took the green and the two tones of the green and the yellow and just dotted it with this on here. And that one cut off a little bit there. I might be able to, no. I might be able to fix that, but no, you can tell. Once I did that, I brought that down and made it the same size. And I'm trying to fix this so I can still use this as a pair of earrings. And I think I accomplished it. They're the same size. Okay. So that's that one. And that was that cutter. I wasn't really impressed. Okay. I'm going to set this over here somewhere. And we're going to use, well, let's use a stamp. Okay. Stamp ink. It's a stamp. I am going to put it on this, so I know exactly where I'm stamping. And yep, I'm trying to get that off of there. And I know y'all can't see this really well, but if you're on your phone, please blow it up, because you can blow it up on your phone a whole lot better. Okay. Know why it did that there, but I don't want that there unless it's in the stamp. This is Temu stamp, so I think that is in the stamp. Okay. I don't want it smudged, so I'm doing this just a little bit. Okay. And I want that impression. So I don't want it to smudge, so I'm going to use my hand and put pressure on it. And I'm going to try to lift it up in one. And I'm happy with that. That's okay. It did not get it over there, but that's okay. Because what I can do is put a little bit of ink and fill it in a little bit more, because it looks sort of old and aged anyway. And I sort of like that. And we're not going to be using the whole thing anyway. And we're going to let that stay for just a minute. And I think what I'm going to do it would be cool that way. And you're not going to be able to tell it's an owl's eye, okay? You're not. Now I could use it with this one. And it might. But no, I want to use it on the door. And I'm gonna dunk my cutter into see what I just did? Okay. Oops. Instead of putting it on the actual clay, I put it on the cutter. Okay. I hope I put it down good enough. We will see. Oh, please don't get stuck. Oh, it got stuck. Okay. Very carefully trying to remove it. Oh, okay, and I love this. And it's all what you see in a piece. But now see, I see viney in this door. So I'm going to add on top of this, I'm going to add some green. Like vines are going through here. And I'm going to add a little bit of brown just to highlight that it is most definitely a wood door. And where the black was, it looks sort of like where the knot of the wood would have been. And I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to sort of blend it. put it up so I can get the edges. And we're going to put that right there. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay, and I'm going to make another one. I'm going to put some cornstarch on here. Okay. And I'm cleaning up the edges. And once again, I see little veinies. They're not there, but I see them. So that's what I'm creating with this. I will be doing a wash on this once it is baked. So I'm just adding a little bit of color on it prior to baking. So that's the second one. I'm putting a little bit of color on the sides. That's there. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the next one. And we're going to use an embossing folder. Let's use the stamp. Let's keep with the stamps right now. Although I don't know how to get the stamp open. Oh, that's crazy, y'all. Oh, there it is. That one or that one? Ooh, I like that one. I could do that too. I think we're going to do that one though. And I did want to show you, let's finish with this real quick. I want to show you where you could take parts of a stamp stamp hasn't dried out. It doesn't look stamping good on there. Maybe I just wasn't hitting hard enough. Okay. And I'm going to just take and lay that right down. And I am putting pressure on it. And bringing it straight up. It's right there. And I'm realizing that you're not seeing most of this. That's what it looks like after the stamp. Now you would not know that was part of an owl stamp. You could turn it that way. You could turn it this way. This would be cool to use in a bookmark because it's long enough where you could do part of it. And this is when, if I had pastel chalks up here, this is when I would be adding pastel chalks. No, the regular chalks, not the pastel chalks that I'm using here. Because this is more pigmented and it covers more. But the regular chalks would be lighter. And so you could do this and still, and I'm doing this really light to give you an idea. But it's still a lot darker than a regular chalk would be. Okay, and now we're going to use a couple of mica powders. This is the Hippie Crafter mica powders. Woo-wee. I've never used these with clay, so we'll see how that works. See if it blends well with the Pan Pastels. And I'm using yellow, which is not real bright, but I wanted to see if the black would still stay in there, and it is with this. So let's try something a little bit darker. Let's go with this color. This is orange red. These are gorgeous colors. Okay, I could spend hours doing this, y'all. Then we're going to use a teal. And I'm just basically tapping and just blending just a little bit. That's quite pretty. That would be a really cool necklace, actually. And you know what? We're going to turn it into a necklace. We're not using a cutter on this one. All I'm doing is I'm rounding off the corners with my fingers. And I'll show you how you can make your own veil with clay. Now I will be, after this bakes, I will be adding a backing to this. Okay. We have some extra clay here. It doesn't matter what color it is right now. I'm just conditioning it. Oh, I want to show you this too while I'm thinking about it. And I know we're all over the place. And I told you you were going to have to go back and forth, back and forth. But while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to show you this. Remember when I said you could take this? Oh, it's wet. Let's do it over here. And you move it around. Of course, this is not colored right for this, but so I don't know if it's going to show the same effect or not. You see how it formed a top-like shape? Do you see that? And then you can take that, and you could use that as a bead. You could actually use that as a bead, because it's like a top shape. But then you could also squish it down, and you've got another shape. So, you know, there's ways to manipulate each and every tool that you use. Okay. But we're going to make your own veil out of this. I think I've lost my ruler. That's just odd. There it is. Okay. I don't have my cutters up here that I normally would be using. I normally would be using a rectangle cutter. So I'll just try to eyeball it. And since I want something similar, let's try this. I love playing around with on stamps with clay. Okay. We're going to just try this to see what kind of design we can get with this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I like that. Yes, indeedy. Okay, what did I use? Oh, I used the mica powders. Okay, that's the difference. I used a little bit of the brown, so let me get a little bit of the brown. Okay. Some of the orange, the yellow, because I do want the same colors in here. Okay. And then I use the red orange. Which I do not see now. That's the teal. Scarlet, pure red, okay, add the teal. Okay, we're gonna lay that over here. And we are gonna make a back for this. I'll go ahead and do this. And I guess this is gonna be the last thing. This video's been all over the place. Since I like that so much, we're going to go ahead and do it again for the back. I'm using black Pan Pastel right now. And a little bit of this goes a long, long way. And now I've got the brown And yes, I'm using Pan Pastel on this right now. Okay, now we're going to incorporate the mica powders. And I've got it all over my hands. I want the mica powders to go down in. Pan Pastels are up. I want the micas to go down in where the white is. And I really need a brush for this. I don't have one up here. This is lemon yellow. It looks like a mess right now, doesn't it? I am incorporating the same colors on the back. Got a baby wipe. Stretching it out a little bit so it will fit. Yep, okay. And then I'm going to cut there's a dull blade. See, I should have changed it out. I'm cutting the excess clay off. And this would be easier if you had a really sharp X-Acto knife. You could get right up to it. But since mine's too dull, I'm having to do it this way. Now I am going to take some liquid Sculpey clear. If I can find some clear. There it is. Normally I would be using my poly paste right now. Or my Kato. But I'm not sure where they are. It's not coming out. It does not take much of this, y'all. But it takes more than that. Why can I not get? Is it hard? Oh, there it comes. It does not matter how ugly this looks. I've got black all over my hands, okay? Oh, this is going to drive me nuts, though. Poly paste is a whole lot cleaner to use. It's a whole lot simpler. And I just like it better. But I don't have any, so... Well, I do. I just don't know where it's at. Okay. Make sure that it's... Look at my hands, y'all. Okay. I'm taking this and I'm sort of just trying to get the sides just sort of go together. Don't really want that line there. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tool and I'm going to pinch this together. Since this is free form, you've got a lot of room to do this. Now, if this was a cutter, it wouldn't be the same. Am doing the sides. I'm sorry, y'all. I know it's hard for me to do this far away. Okay. And now you've got this bail, which I'm just doing the edges, because I don't want white edges showing up. And I am going to sort of round that off. Once again, I'm going to just shape the corner. Just so it's not totally square. This part up. I don't think we need that much bail. Okay. And I'm coloring in the edge. So it is not white. And I am using the brown pastel. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm putting some liquid Sculpey right there. Right where I'm going to put. And then I'm going to put some right there. And right there. And I am going to put that stick right there for right now, just to get it shaped. Now this is the back. I'll show you what I do. Now, this is just my preference. You don't have to do this. But when I do a bail, I always use the ball tip tool. And I always push down. Only 3. I always use 3. And this right here is something else that I always do. That is initial A. When I do a pendant, I always mark my jewelry, and I would suggest you do the same thing with whatever you want to mark it with. I just use an A because my storefront is Annie's Studio. Annie Studio clay art. Now there is another Annie Studio. That is not me. Mine is Annie Studio clay art. And I am looking for, I'll show you. I told y'all this was going to be a long one. Oh, that's a new one. I don't want the new one. I don't want the silver one. Gold Deco art pen. Just drop the top. And I stamp it. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's just enough down there. Now, on the front, I always put some kind of something on the bezel because I don't like just a straight bezel. I want it to have some kind of character. So I'm going to do that. Okay. And I don't know if you can see this. And I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a little bit of texture on the side. I'm just going down on the sides. Just so there's another little texture to it. Can you see that? Okay. It's a preformed pendant. It's going to go right there. We have those. We have the cute little doors, which I love. Okay. We have a big old mess. A big old mess here. And we have one more piece of clay, but since I have to bake this and then come back and show you what I do with it baked, and we're already at, oh my, 2 hours and 7 minutes. Yeah, no, we will stop here. I told y'all it was long. Okay, we will stop here and I will show you how I'm going to bake it. I have tiles. I don't. Since I'm only using that tile, I'm going to put that right on here. Just like that. I get these at the Dollar Tree. You know, the throwaway disposable pans. I set it on here. Just like that, and I bake that in an oven at 275 for 45 minutes. Now if you're not sure, you see this right here, if you're not sure if your oven is baking at the correct temperature, put this in the very first time you bake clay. If it reaches 275 when you have it set for 275, then you know it's correct. If it's baking at a higher temp, put it down below 275. If it's not baking at least 275, raise the temperature so it will get to 275. That's what you need to bake it at. If you underbake it, it's not going to cure, it's not going to do right. If you overbake it, it's not going to be right either, and you stand a chance of burning it. So if you're not sure, one of these, it's real cheap. I think I got this at Harbor Freight for like $2. But this is very important. Okay. And I don't even know if I'm going to be able to splice this together since it's so long, but we will try.